at the last minute, match at the last overtime. It's reps.
Okay, question before we start. I saw your thing. I didn't get a chance to read it. I'll be honest. We're talking about still this season. No, I'm just.
Yeah,
I'd like to have some.
There's a section in there. There's a section in there where we talk about all the things that we found out during the race week.
Good. I want the recap. I want the update. Get me up to speed, please. I don't know nothing about nobody.
If you showed up to your job instead of taking holiday, you know what's going on.
Listen, you need to.
Nope, it's okay. It's okay.
You need to take care of yourself, take care of the home life, see some of the country.
Wow.
You know, that's not shade. That's not shade at all. Why are you acting like that's an insult?
So I need to travel because you had pickles stacked on glizzies, and I'm the bad guy.
I didn't say anyone was the bad. I didn't say anyone was the bad guy. All I'm saying is sometimes you gotta take care of yourself. Take care of the home front.
You remember that run Sonic had where they gave like each region of the United
I was thinking about that on the trip. I was thinking about that on the trip. I swear I was, because I had that. That was like 2007, I feel like, or something.
Amazing marketing. Shout out Sonic. I had a
listen. The Chicago hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of rock with them. I was skeptical.
The authentic.
I was skeptical, but like we went to a spot that like the locals agreed was like authentic, and it's pretty good. If you like, salty and like a lot of flavors going on, then yeah, sure, it's great. But it might not be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay too. But
did you have a deep dish pizza, and was it trash?
I did have a deep dish pizza, and it was trash. Dude, oh man, like I had such high hopes, bro. Like I was so excited. It was night one. It was dinner one. Like we landed, went to a hotel that night. We went to this pizza place. I don't even know the name of it right now, like Giorno's or something. Someone don't know. Man, it was two cheeks, bro. It was so overrated. And it took 45 minutes to cook. I was like, yeah, it's 45 minutes to cook.
Eat pasta at that point. That's crazy.
No, for real. And so it came out, and we're sitting there eating it, and I look over, and I'm like, "It ain't that good, is it?" They're like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Yeah, it kind of sucks." I don't know.
You hear that, Jamal? Your cuisine is trash.
And here's the thing, man. Like, and then we can start. Like, I wanted it to be good, bro. Like, I love pizza, one of my favorite foods, and like, I love New York style. And I was like, oh, I hope this is just as good. Like, I hope this is like, I want this to beat New York style. Like, it looks so good. Like, it's gonna, all the cheese and the sauce and whatever, it's gonna be fire. And you're like, this really ain't hitting like I would want it to. And we didn't even finish it. Like, we had like 2 pieces each, but like, it was disappointing. New York style reigns supreme. I'm sorry, I can't rock with it anymore. That's heartbreaking, dude.
Has pizza leftovers and doesn't finish them, the pizza's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You never had the home run in? That's the pizza.
What?
Home run in. You heard the fuck I said.
Wow. We haven't even
started the show
yet. We haven't even started the show. That's crazy.
Why are you so upset?
Why are you so aggressive?
I'm aggressive.
We're 4 minutes. The music hasn't even played yet.
You know what's crazy is that like the people listening can't hear, but we just had like a polite like 20-minute conversation, like nice casual chit chat, waiting for Peyton to show up when she never did. And then like as soon as the lights turn on, we hit record. Vontae starts cussing up a story. Hey, cussing 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
True form.
Bro, why? You a menace.
Well, that's one. I'm getting counted tonight, but drop the music. Let's start the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is former NASCAR driver Bill Lester.
Bob Cockers.
I'm NASCAR driver Natalie Decker.
NASCAR's Chief Hype Officer Mamba Smith.
And you're listening to Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane.
Victory Lane Vibe.
Let's go.
376. Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
Just praying for it. There it is. Raja Caruth wins it at Las Vegas. First career win. Gets it done.
You stayed in the game, and it was just one step, one punch, one round at a time, and my guys had me a great stop, and we just executed. So there's more to come for sure.
His final time through 3 and 4. He's gonna do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
He is the man who raises the bar, who raises the stats, who takes things to stratospheric levels, and he's only got 3 corners now. He can see the crowd standing and giving him that round of applause. 8 times we've said it before. Here's a 9th for you. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix. What a victory! Hamilton is back.
Welcome to another episode of Victory Lane Vibes. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. We are post Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee. It's Jared, it's Art, Bonte's back, and we're gonna talk some racing. But first things first, just want a quick shout out because it just happened. Shout out to the GOAT, Antron Brown, going back to back, winning the Carolina Nationals. Doing big things.
Yes,
big
sir.
things. Definitely the front runner for the championship in the top 4 now. So just wanted to give him his coins and his flowers. We should get Antron back. That was a really good interview. We'll get him back on here.
I got to be on.
But yeah, let's appreciate y'all for stopping by. This episode may be a titch longer than last week's. Shout out Jared, and thanks once again to Taylor Kitchen from Above the Yellow Line filling in. But I have some regular voices back, so this will be a normal show. So first things first.
First of all, when has the show ever been normal? That's not a word.
Never.
There's a consistent
been
sound that I like. So it's normal to me.
Sure, buddy.
You know, Bonte takes his sabbaticals, and he comes and goes as he pleases. But there's a sound that I like. So it's normal to me. I'm used to Bonte and his filthy mouth. But we can do something different. We're gonna bring up Arca. We can start the show with Arca. So Connor Zilic was winning, getting ready to drive in the sunset, winning the Arca East Championship. He collided with a car that had recently wrecked, plowed right into the side of him, knocking him out for the race, dashing his championship hopes. Mr. Salowich wins the race and is your Arca East champion.
Back to back.
Mr. LeVar Scott finishes 3rd. Thoughts, feelings, opinions on the Arca race?
It was a race. Arca. That's all you can say about Arca. Just Arca. Hated for Connor. Dude was talented, man. Talented. I think like 5 wins this year. Had a championship in his hands, but Arca breaks. But hated for him, but excited for the future. So Wallace, congrats to him. Go back to back, I think. Yeah, back to back as champions in the Arca. So it's pretty Arca race, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
I just think this is the most quintessential story for how an Arca champion would be decided. Like this is the way the script is meant to be. Like you get caught up in someone else's calamity, someone else's chaos that you had nothing to do with, and the Arca breaks are gonna Arca break. Yeah, it's unfortunate. When you're a guy as talented as him, like there's gonna be opportunities, I feel, for championships in the future. I feel like if you're these kinds of guys, like your best days are ahead of you, right? So this, while disappointing, should just be a reminder that the fact that you were in position to compete for this championship is a sign, one, of your own natural talent, which I don't think you need a reminder of, but just, like, you're in a good spot, like, keep it going. But I didn't have a chance to watch this live, but I was just very interested. There was a lot of discourse around Twitter, and maybe you guys know, who was the car that was running around like 50 miles an hour under everyone else. And then on Twitter, there was some discourse about how it was like a Michigan car that had been meant to be set up. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes. So one of the teams, they brought the car that was set up for Michigan, which is where they last raced. They never broke the car down and set it up for Bristol. And everybody's like, wouldn't that make it faster? And everybody's like, no, dum-dum. That would make it infinitely slower because the gear ratios are all off. So I feel bad for them. Talk about lights too bright. That's a terrible, terrible, dastardly thing to set yourself up for. Side note, they did not win lights too bright. So I'm just putting that out there. It's just one of the, I wouldn't even call it unfortunate. It's just, I guess, one of the things that just happens if you're not a team that runs all the time. You're not a full-time Arca competing team. You forget some things sometimes. Like, oh, we got a race. Uh-oh. We didn't change gears.
That's such a wild story to me. I forgive me because I don't remember the full context. I saw it on Twitter somewhere, but yeah, it seemed like they either weren't prepared to go to this race, or maybe they found out late and they just didn't have time, I guess, to make all the adjustments necessary. But it's just, again, the Arca-ness of Arca racing is just, it's so wild to me sometimes. Like, on the one hand, like, this is a car, not a car, this is a series. It's, a national touring series. It's part of NASCAR. And then you just have incidents like that. You have, the weekly catastrophes, like I mentioned before. And then you have like talented drivers that are working their way up. It's such an interesting spread of abilities and personalities. And it's never boring, but like, I don't know, I never walk away necessarily feeling like happy or like necessarily proud of the total product. Like, there's some, people in there that seem like they need their license revoked. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's just an interesting race. And Bristol is probably one of the not worst tracks for it, but it's so fast and it's so tight. And like, you make one tiny little mistake and it's going to ruin several people's days there. So I can see why they would have it as their championship deciding race, but I just don't know. I'm never sure what to expect from it, but their season's done. All the Arca folks can take the off season off now.
Moving forward to Friday night, trucks under lights. Mr. Lane Riggs is the spoiler for the playoffs. He wins again. He goes back to back. His second straight win, his fourth straight top five, dethroning Corey Heim, who beat Raja in a drag race coming to race for second. Raja finished third. After his stage one win in his third place finish, Raj goes from -5 to the cut to +35 going into Kansas, searching for some redemption and getting a berth into the round of 8. What did y'all think of the truck race?
Better than Arca, but it was pretty decent. Not too much wrecking. It's kind of a good thing because you know how these drivers be. But I thought it was a pretty smooth race. Roger ran his race like top 5 all day, all race. Ran well, got third, which he was so close to get second from Corey. But it seemed like him and Corey Heim has been racing clean and battling each other like during the last couple of laps. But that was pretty cool to see. But happy for Lane Riggs. It seemed like that team is clicking towards the end of the year, especially when he had won in Milwaukee. Especially when this time he did not dislocate his shoulder. So, just joking. But Lane Riggs gonna be he's gonna be fast next season. He's gonna be good. Like I said, he's gonna get some wins next season. He's just doing well. playoff killer twice. But other than that, it was a pretty decent truck race. Except for Kansas, though.
Yeah, I was really interested in seeing how Raj would perform. I feel like there's maybe 3 or 4 trucks in the field on a weekly basis that I'm actually excited to watch, right? Aside from the, not counting when Kyle Busch or someone comes down and make an appearance, but Corey Hive and Raj are the 2 that I pencil in as must watch for me. And so they were both really strong throughout this race. I think Raj won stage 1, I want to say, right? Which is great to see. I think I just watch him get better and better as the season goes on. And so those are the things that I'm looking for. Like, he's gotten a win, yes, which is great, but I feel like you still need to have those consistent performances, even when you have a really good car, right? I think it's very easy for you to try to overdrive and get an A+ effort out of maybe an A- car, or in this case, truck. And based on what I had seen from the race, it seemed like he had that like A- car and Lane or truck, and Lane just had the track position, was able to hold on at the end. But yeah, happy for him. I was interested in seeing how Raj and Heim finishing close, like Bonte mentioned with their drag race. So I'm also excited for Kansas. I'd love to see another win. I think it's very possible. I'm not going to go out on a limb and like call my shot and say that he's going to win, but I'm just excited for it. I think this is a really good shot for him. And I'm really starting to believe that Raj can, I do think he is going to be at Phoenix. Like, I think he's just one of the most consistent guys in the truck field. But I'm starting to have a bit more hope, a bit more optimism after seeing such a good performance on a short track. Maybe he can be in the hunt for actually winning at Phoenix. I know that's a bold thought or wish, considering he just went against Heim, who you could argue has been the best in the truck series this season. But I just feel like there's something there. Maybe there's a chance. Like, I would love that, though. A Raj truck win would hit perfectly for me. So that's what I'm hoping for, rooting for. But overall, it seemed like it was a really strong race. So happy for it. Happy for those 2 guys to get out. They raced each other hard and clean too, which I'll give a shout out for, because as we've seen, it's very easy in modern day NASCAR to not race the guy around you clean. So shout out to both of them for doing that. They raced the right way. And Elaine too. I feel like I barely talked about him, but getting the win, right? Wins in it's not consecutive races, right? It was like 2 out of the last 3, or is it consecutive?
No, he went back to back.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You said that. Sorry. Yeah, that's great. You're like, damn, bro, I wish you were in the playoffs. Like, you'd be doing some damage right now with these 2 wins. But shout out to that team as well. Coming in and getting a win, it's hard at any level, and I think we need to celebrate those. And so, good on them.
And then we moved to, I misspoke. Arca was Wednesday. Trucks race was Thursday. And now we're at Friday night. Xfinity race. Cole Custer gets his 2nd win of the year to start his title defense next week at Kansas. Sheldon Creed gets his 13th second place finish. Justin Allgaier had the car to beat until he didn't. He got involved in a wreck with a lap down car, got his rear bumper cover taken off. Everything seemed to be okay until he dragged the Sawzall out of pit road. DeWalt, if you need any advertisement, just say that the saw got pushed the whole way around the track. Still worked. Ain't no problems. Yeah, that was the Xfinity race. And then while I'm here, just to shout out, since now the Xfinity playoff standings are locked up, set up. So of course, Allgaier is leading into the playoffs as driver 1, Cole Custer 2, Austin Hill, who's more affectionately known by other names, is 3rd, Chandler Smith 4th, SVG is seated 5th, Jesse Love 6th, Sam Mayer 7th, Riley Herbst is 8th, and on the bubble, Sheldon Creed -3, AJ Allmendinger -4, Sammy Smith -9, and Parker Clearman -12. thoughts on the Xfinity race?
I just watched the highlights, but because I never got a chance to watch it. But bro, wasn't that bad? Actually, was actually pretty decent. Justin Allgaier, my brother in Christ, are you okay? I thought she was gonna win, but he said nope, I ain't winning. Nope, guess not. Headed for Creed, 13th, second place finishes. Like at this point, he might as well be Daniel Hemrick in 2021. But that was pretty decent race. Happy for Cole Custer. He is the regular season champion in his final year in SHR Xfinity. Plan to go to Cup next season. It was pretty decent. But also Chandler Smith, I don't understand how you get mad at Sheldon Creed for just racing. Like my brother in Christ, stop crying and just race. You be okay. You did the same thing in Atlanta with Corey Heim, and now your team, and now today, Friday, your teammate, like my brother in Christ. Come on, man, just racing. But other than that, it's pretty decent.
When are we gonna get the Bonte "You Will Be Okay" T-shirt? When's that coming, Jared? Can you make that happen? Thank you, appreciate it. Anyway, I can't believe both of you went through this whole segment talking about the show and not talking about the man of the hour, the man with the power, the Pied Piper of NASCAR, Dale Jr. coming back. How you guys talking about the man, the Prince of NASCAR? You know,
not only that, he finished 7th too, so he a hell of a good run.
You had your time. Get out of here. You missed the window. Talk about him now. You missed your chance. I had the luxury of watching this race mostly on my phone because, as mentioned earlier, I was out of town. So the best viewing experience, but we do what we have to. I enjoyed a lot of what I saw out of this race. It's definitely the best race. Again, shocker, hit the button. It was the best race of the weekend was Xfinity. The field was pretty racy, pretty clean for the most part, but really aggressive. I would say looking now as this playoffs series starts, I just feel like the 7 and the 00 are trending in completely different directions, right? Cole smacks the heck out of the wall on lap 2, comes back to win. And I just feel like Allgaier is falling off a cliff in the worst way. Like, if you look at his stats since he won at what? I think it was Michigan was the last race that he won. He's had a 7th, a 10th, a 30th, a 17th, and another 30th. And, blowing a 45-point cushion for the regular season in one race is not ideal, to say the least. It just seemed like no matter what they could do in the second half of the race, it just got worse and worse and worse. And yeah, shout out to Sheldon Creed again. I think this is number 13. I believe in 13th, second place finish. So keep chugging away, like keep digging. I can't wait for Carl to come back on so I can ask him, when am I going to be worried? I keep bringing this up every time it happens, but it keeps happening. Like, he keeps finishing in second. And I just love to rub that in his face. But then, yeah, like the last thing being Dale Jr., like Dale still got it, man. Like, I just really wish he could have gone out with a win. Like, I know that might be too much of a fairy tale story, but man, like going out with a win, that would have been amazing. But it's so fun to watch him race. And it's just kind of a reminder of how the sport had superstars in, society, in pop culture, that had so much relevance, so much cachet. Dale hasn't raced full time in, gosh, what, 7 years, 8 years? ? I forget. When did he retire from full time, Jarrett or Bonte? I know y'all know.
2017. What you talk for? Cup?
Just from Cup, just from full time.
2017.
Okay, so my finger is quickly counting, telling me that's 7 years. So, like, this dude's been out of a full-time seat for 7 years, and he's still, by a country mile, the biggest name at the track. Now, credit, yes, that's Dale Jr., and he's probably the biggest name at any track in America. But still, I just think it's kind of cool just to see, like, one of the last real rock stars of the sport still come out and compete. So it was really fun to watch him. I always enjoy hearing him on the radio. I think it was on YouTube. They had his in-car for the whole race. So I watched part of that as well, which is really cool to see. I hope he comes back again. I know he was talking about this is going to be the last one, but someone, I mean, give him some more Mayo dollars, whatever it takes. Like, just make it happen to bring him back. That'd be amazing. But all in all, really good race. Happy for Cole. I think he's my pick for the title at this point with the playoffs officially starting now. I just don't see how they can be stopped. Like, they've done it once. They know what it takes. This is an experienced crew now. And, this race is another example of like having adversity and finding a way to come back and win. So they would be my pick for the title today.
And I wouldn't say it was adversity, but Junior had his share of issues throughout the race as well. The whole first stage, he didn't have any radio communications, so he couldn't hear TJ Majors. He couldn't hear the crew chief. He's just out there just clearing himself, dashing, dipping, dodging. So that showed us some real ineptitude. And then they had to come down, swap helmets. Helmet swap didn't work. Had to come back down and have one of the crewmen plug his helmet up, redo the Hans device, and do everything. Most, I guess, current drivers put the helmet on after they're in the car. Junior's old school, and he puts his on before he gets in. So they may have attributed or not to some of the communications issues, but to go through all of that, to not lose a lap and to finish in the top 10 was just downright awesome. So shout out Junior. Like Art said, as of right now, he doesn't have any 2025 plans, but the mayonnaise people need to make a boss call. He can go run Martinsville. That's less stressful than Bristol is. So we'll see. Quick silly season update before we get into the other cup race. So Harrison Burton has found a new home. He will be racing for AM Racing next year full time. That's going to be very interesting. Godspeed. Glad he's staying with the Ford program, but Godspeed to that man. Hopefully he can do better than the people he's replacing, because it's been pretty abysmal. So hopefully he can gel and get some success for himself so he can bounce back and come back to the Cup side of things. And then speaking of Cup, a boss call was made. So in case you missed it, in case you haven't heard or seen, Corey LaJoie has raced his last race for Spire Motorsports and is transitioning to Rick Ware starting next week. Justin Haley recently announced as the driver of the 7 for 2025. He's going to go ahead and get a head start, jump in the car now, where he will be paired with Rodney Childress next season. Quick thoughts, boys. Questions, comments, concerns. Were you surprised? Were you shocked? Did Kyle Busch say, I gotcha, you're not going to embarrass me no more? Like, what do you think happened?
No. We just don't know the fact that you literally struggling trying to sneeze, Jared. It's hilarious. Not surprised. It was rumored that was like a little rumor that I saw about that, but I was not expecting them to switch cars during the middle of the season. I think the last person that did that was Jeff Burton. Can't remember what year was that, but he said it. He literally said it himself that I think he was like the last person that happened. Or no, I may be wrong. It might be it was Elliott Sadler. I don't know. It's one of them too. But I'm gonna see how that played out. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with Harrison first. I'm a full believer in Harrison getting another shot in NASCAR, but I think he needs to take a little bit extra time in the oven, right? He needs a little bit more time. It seemed pretty apparent that either it was his confidence or just ability at this point is just not good enough to be a consistent threat at the highest level. That's not his fault necessarily. It's not even a bad thing. Like, it's just really hard to be good as a race car driver at the Cup Series, right? So even before the win, and the win notwithstanding, that doesn't change my opinion on that. And it seems like other folks agree. Like he's one of those people that I think just needs maybe another year or two. Maybe he needs to go the Cole Custer route, and stay down there for a couple of years and get some success and find his way back up. But I feel like with the last name that he has and the fact that he has a win on his resume, he'll be back in a Cup Series car at some point. Like, sure. I just don't foresee, I don't see that guy never getting another shot. So I'm happy for him to get another chance, right? If by all accounts, he's a good dude, works hard, is a nice guy. It's just, it's just not working out right now for him. And then, for the swap, I just, it's interesting. Like you go on a 10 race trial basically, right, with this team, and there's no promise or guarantee that you'll be there next year. That's a tough spot to be in. As much as I rag on Corey, and I mean he had another moment in Saturday night's race, but I just think that's a really hard, hand to be dealt. Like that's got to be real bitter. Like you've been here forever, and you've struggled a lot of it due to your own doing and misfortune, but having to watch somebody else come in and not only take your car but also get the extension that you're not getting, like that's really tough. And I don't like that for anybody. I think that's really brutal. But on the flip side, like you get Ronnie Childress and you get the 7 car that's clear, and this team has shown speed the last couple of weeks, right? Like we've seen them get multiple top 10s and have all 3 cars in the top 10, I think, at Watkins Glen. So there's definitely some big improvements happening in-house. I still think my prediction, this is a prediction, not anything educated, but I still feel like Haley finds his way. I just still think Alex is out in 2 years, and I think Haley finds his way in the 48. And I know Alex is always the memed guy to be the first one out, but I don't think it's next year, but I bet you the year after that, they might have said, "Hey, Alex, no, you're good for next year." End of the sentence. You're not good for indefinitely. So I feel like that's my opinion is that's going to happen. But if you're Justin, this is a great spot to be in, and I really think this team is going to make some noise next year. Justin's one, he's a good driver. He gets more out of the car, I think, than it has. And then you've got an S tier crew chief on the box helping you. So I'm excited to see what that looks like next year and how they can come out and like I said, be a threat. I don't think they're going to do much this year just because it's so late in the season and you're just getting used to people. But I mean, this is really just a preseason for them at this point, the rest of the year. I'm excited to see what they do come Daytona.
I have my boy Harrison, to get another ride at Xfinity. I got a feeling that he'll get a win from that team. Keep in mind, he was hella good in Xfinity, so he'll be a contender.
Yeah, I think Spire's had some speed. They're basically Hendrick light. So I know for certain the performance from Justin's going to be up here. I feel like for these last few weeks, you've already seen what Zane Smith has been able to do. You've seen what Carson Hocevar has been able to do consistently. So I feel like they're going to still make some noise, but I expect them to take a really big jump next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if the 7 gets a couple wins. Honestly, truthfully, just because you got, to Arch's point, you got the baddest crew chief right now in the garage, and you have Justin Haley, who's still really, really young, years of experience, but he's still extremely young. So they have a long way to go to grow and cultivate that relationship, and that makes some noise. So I'm excited for them. Also came out, Bubba's on his extension. Got another 2-year deal from 2011.
Yes, sir.
It was asked of Denny in the media center, just in regards to what's the performance expectation for Bubba going forward. Was this year's performance part of what gave him the reassurances he needed for extending him? And then he was quoted saying, top 10 is the bare minimum in points. We should always do that for both sides of the house. That's something that, we we've all agreed upon. And, we talked about it before, again, and we'll get to this point, but Bubba's having a career year as far as top 5s and top 10s and the finishes that he has and the qualifying positions and his average finishing that he's getting. But it was, some wins by some folk that don't normally win. And thanks to this point system, he's on the outside looking in. So he's ranked 12th in the driver standings. And obviously he's not in playoff contention this season, but the proof in the pudding is there. He's putting in the work. I'm glad to see that team ownership. We knew he wasn't going anywhere, but and then he once again stood on business and said that we're fully prepared to run Uncharted next year. We have the money to do it. So we'll see what happens with this with these charter negotiations. But we'll put a pin in that right now and jump over to yesterday's action for the Cup race. So the Snooze Fest 500. If you didn't watch it, you missed not a damn thing. This was arguably the most boring race I've ever forced myself to watch. Just so I could come over here and talk about it with you guys. So for some strange reason, NASCAR and Goodyear made the decision to put PJ1 on the track and coat the whole bottom groove of the racetrack because the racing product wasn't good between the truck and Xfinity race. They had like 5 grooves. I don't know why they wasted the PJ1 to do that. Whatever. So they did that. That was supposed to make it a better race. They brought the tire from the spring back. That was supposed to make it a better race. But all those factors attributed to the fastest Bristol race in history, lasting 2 hours and 37 minutes. Sponsored by HendrickCars.com, Hendrick Motorsports, and Kyle Larson. We've led over 400 laps, giving him his 5th win of the year and giving him more momentum than he needs to go and make noise next weekend at Kansas, where all of Hendrick's cars, all 4 cars, have officially advanced to the round of 12. So now for the Cup guys, the playoff standings for them going into the round of 12, Kyle Larson's your leader, Seabell 2nd, Tyler 3rd, Tyler Reddick 3rd, William Byron 4th, Ryan Blaney 5th. Denny saved himself, is now +7 to the cut line in 6th place. Chase Elliott 7th. Joey Logano also, thanks to his unfortunate luck last night, still banked enough points to be 8th seeded. Cindric's on the buzzer, -4 to the cut line. Daniel Suarez is -6. Alex Bowman and Chase Briscoe are -7 to the cut going into Kansas. What y'all think of the race last night?
I'm gonna be honest. This race was absolutely dog shit. The race was doo-doo water. One of the worst Bristol I've ever watched in my life. Oh my God. All you saw was not passing and Kyle Larson. That's pretty much it. And Corey LaJoy wrecking Joey Logano. I don't know about that, but pretty much Corey LaJoy. And more Kyle Larson. And Kyle Larson. That's it. This race was booty week. This race sucked. But outside my boys' race sucked, but that's Bristol for you. Hope we get a better race next season with Bristol. That don't suck and not be doo-doo water. That's all I gotta say.
I've been dying the whole time. Oh God. This is why I miss Bonte, because you literally never know what he's gonna say out of his mouth. And just saying like this race was booty meat. Oh man. Oh, that's funny. All right.
Oh. This is one of those times where I wish I had gone first because I haven't tried to follow that up. But the nuanced take on a race that I really hated. I don't think this is the worst. I don't think this is the worst Cup race I've watched. I think if you remember that spring Martinsville race where it was like 30 degrees and William Byron won, and that was the epitome of carousel racing. Like nobody could. That to me is still the worst Cup race I've ever watched. But this might be top 10, maybe top 5, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I mean, all of the negatives about this car continue to exist, right? Goodyear can swear to us all up and down that this is the same tire. I don't believe you. I mean, one more time for emphasis. I don't believe you. Like, there's no way you can tell me a tire that was absolutely shredding at 40 laps into a run is now going 120 laps, 130 laps. Like the last run, I think, was 130 laps, green, uninterrupted. So I don't think that actually happened. I think they said that because everyone was all excited, and Spring Bristol was probably the best, most exciting race of the season up to this point because of the fact that tire wear was such an actual factor. I keep thinking of the Charlie Brown, moment where Lucy pulls the football out from under him, and he just keeps saying, this time I'll keep it there for you to kick it. Like, that's how I feel with NASCAR and Goodyear. But to keep it on this race, because I was about to go down a Gen 7 rabbit hole. It was boring. Like, it was boring. It was pretty much impossible to get to the field with any kind of speed. People were pointing out online that Ty Gibbs got back up through the field after his penalty, but they don't mention the fact that it took him almost 300 laps and several of those cars in front of him wrecking out for him to be able to get back up there. So, I mean, if that's the stakes that it takes for a car that was, top 5, top 10 to make it back up to 7th, 8th after 300 laps or something, I just don't think it's good enough. I give Larson credit. Like, he got the, out front. I was about to say clean air, but he got out front and, drove away with it. Like, you do what you're supposed to do, right? And pit crew didn't make any mistakes. But I mean, when first place never is threatened, it's hard for it to be a good race. And I'm just glad that more people are ragging on it this week. Sometimes I feel like I get gaslit by like NASCAR fandom on Twitter or like media people when they're like, oh yeah, this race is great. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is like the one week where I'm like, yes, everyone come into the tent, boo with me, get the rotten fruit. I've been saving it all season for us to throw at them. Like, that's how I feel about this race. Man, until they get that new car or make significant changes to the car, like, it's not going to happen. I don't think, I've said on here before, but I don't think they can Goodyear entire scheme their way to fixing it. It has to be big changes, right? I feel like, like you see some, I mean, it's like another sport analogy, but like you see some football teams, right, where it's like the other team is just better than you, and like you try like your trick players or whatever, and like it just doesn't work, right? Like, they just are better than you. That's how I feel. Like, they cannot just like all of these little things that they try to do with like the tire or whatever, we're gonna change this part in the window, whatever. Like, it also feel like little trick plays to try and like overcome this obstacle. It's like, no, you have to just get better. And like, that's one of the things I think I need to like keep watching next year as a fan. Is like, I need big wholesale changes to this car. And like, it can't just be a new tire. Cause like, how many times are we going to get fooled by this? Like, Jared, tell me, how many times have Goodyear came out and said, we got a tire for you this year, that we're like, oh yeah, they got a new tire. Here we go. And then it's the same thing. And like, again, like I've said here before, like, I don't know how hard it is to make a tire, but like, it's clearly not possible with this current configuration of a car. So like, we need to stop bashing our head against the wall and like try something else. And until that happens, I think this is going to be bad. But I mean, when you lose Martinsville and your Bristols as NASCAR at the top level, like, these are the fundamental races, right? And like, Bristol night is supposed to be a very big deal, and it wasn't, and it was boring. And I feel bad for the people that paid money for a ticket, because you did not, in my opinion, at least, I feel you did not get your money's worth.
And I mean, if NASCAR is going to put all of this hope and happiness and all this stuff into tires, then let's talk about tires. We've said it once, we've said it again, and I'm going to say it one more time. If you're not going to give the teams the horsepower, fine, I'm over it. Change the tire, make it narrower, do something to help offset the handling characteristics of this car. And there is in no way, shape, or form should your bread and butter a summer night Bristol race in 2 hours and 37 minutes. That's trash. Help me. Help us. Help. Please, NASCAR. Help. I'm begging you, please help. This is arguably the best mile and a half car we've ever seen. And I'm gonna say probably, like I tweeted on the pod account yesterday, I think. In an alternate universe with Gen 7, we have a whole 36 races that are just compiled of mile and a half racetracks. It's the greatest season on record. All the other major sports leagues are null and void. They don't matter because everybody's tuned into NASCAR and this race car cooking. Mile and a half, yes. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. It's perfect. For the road courses and the short track package, no matter what you do, no matter what you touch, it doesn't work. If you're not going to give us 900 horsepower to blow the tires off of it, then give us a smaller tire to blow the tires off of it. And I think that we would see an infinitesimal improvement in the racing product and the excitement around the racing product. Short tracks will sell out again. Everybody will be happy. Small steps, small changes. Work with BBS, work with Goodyear. Let's test a narrow tire package this year since you're not going to give me 900 horsepower. Since you claim that another OEM's coming and they're not, unless it's Dodge, which they might. But I don't think they can make the new Charger aerodynamic enough for Cup Series racing. But until then, just give me a narrow tire with a narrower contact patch and let this 670, spin some wheels in the corners. Let's do something.
If I'm not hearing about a narrower tire, smaller brakes, and more horsepower this offseason, I'm out, bro. Like, I'm out. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Small changes. Like, that's not a $500,000 change. That's not something that's really expensive. They should already be working on it, honestly. Like, that's not a heavy lift. Like, yeah, if you mess with the ECU mapping and you mess with the valve springs and all this stuff to run a higher RPM to get a higher, like to bump up the red limit and make more horsepower, cool, I understand. Like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Sure. That's what they got Denny for. They popped him for all those points because they set the engines in the wrong place. If that's such an egregious thing, just put smaller tires on it, man.
And my thing is, even if you sit there and tell me it's some massive change, just do it. Like, I don't care. I don't care if it's a lot of work.
At this point, facts. It doesn't matter.
Like, because honestly, if you've done it after year 2, right? Like, year 1 was great. Like, year 1, we were like, oh, for the most part, I'll say. But year 1, it was like all these new winners. We're like, oh yeah, this car slaps. Like, all right. And then year 2, it's like, oh, okay, we're back to business as usual in the Gen 6. That off season was the time to say, like, all right, we're gonna start making changes on this car now. Because, like, the car tomorrow, like, they tweaked like hell on that splitter, the wing, like, they kept working on that. And you can argue that the COT wasn't the best cup car in history. Like, that's fine, but like, you cannot deny the effort that was made to make it better. And so far with this car, my biggest gripe about this car, even above all of the issues I have with the car itself, is that it's never any different types of changes other than the tire compound. Like, for some reason, we've become married to the tire compound. That's the only thing they're willing to change. And it's just not getting it done. I don't know how anyone can sit there with a straight face and say, like, oh yeah, it's getting better. Because it's the exact same problem. And, like, I don't want to sit here and talk about tires every 2 weeks. Like, I don't think people want to listen to people talk about tires every 2 weeks. But, like, you're sitting here telling me, we know the product isn't good enough. We're working on getting it better. Great. But then the solutions that you're doing to make it better are the same types of solutions. And again, like, it's running your head into the wall over and over again. And I don't know whether it's pride and being stubborn or what, but, like, I don't care how much it costs. Just fix it, dude. Like, just fix the car. And I guarantee we're gonna hear in December and January about some tests in Phoenix and in Martinsville and maybe Charlotte, and everyone will get excited because I got excited for those tests, and the drivers come out and be like, yeah, it really didn't change that much. And then we'll get to the race and Goodyear be like, oh, this is gonna be a different tire, it's gonna be great. And then it's like, oh, it actually isn't. Like it's gotta be better, dude. And I just like, don't come to me. I don't want billionaires and millionaires to come to me telling me it's too expensive. That's what I guess my real bone is. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, figure it out. That's your job. That's why you get all that money. That's why you hire all those engineers to do all of this work. So figure it out. I don't care. But like, don't sit here in February and tell me, oh, we got a new tire, it's going to solve all our problems, because I know you're lying to me. I know it's not true.
So yeah, there's that. So we'll be hopefully pleasantly surprised in a couple weeks. Moving on to 2311 Corner. Bubba had a stellar performance. Was in the top 10 all night. Pit crew cooked. He cooked. Bubba came home P3 and the Toyota Mobile 1 schemed 23 Toyota Camry. Tyler went for broke, got some stage points in stage 2. Stayed out, ended up finishing, I think, 6th that stage. And then he relegated himself to the back, finishing 20th. So, I mean, good race for Bubba. I hated that his performance is overshadowed by the playoff drama, but I mean, it's to be expected. But, top 5 finishers automatically have to stay and stick around for media availability. But his post-race interview was not picked up by TV. It is what it is. It was what he was. He's going to, I say him and Tyler both are going to a really great track next week in Kansas, where hopefully they can continue this Toyota dominance and reign supreme in the cornfields, or whatever Kansas is known for. Rock Chalk Jayhawk, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, this was the type of performance we've been hoping and wanting to see all year, right, from this team. And they once again seem to turn it on when it's too late. It was a great performance from the 23. They were top 10 pretty much all night, I want to say. Consistently gains. I don't think they even netted even on pit road all night. I think they gained every single spot. So, the pit crew, y'all doing your thing. That's amazing. And then, Bubba just seemed to run a really smart race when he was in, tight traffic or confines, didn't make any big mistakes. Seemed to back out. I think a couple times I saw where it was just the smart play was not to try to just drive it in there. Like that C gap, fill gap mentality doesn't necessarily always work. And I just thought he ran a really smart race, and they had a great car, especially on the short run. They seemed like they were maybe the second best behind Larson, at least on the short run, that first 10 to 15 laps. So I'm very happy for him. I know Bonte's going to say it, so I'm going to steal it before him and say that this is now a career high in terms of top 5s and top 10s for him throughout the course of a season. So that's great to see. I'm happy that he's continuing to get better. Hopefully they can continue on those numbers. Great day. Would have got a bunch of stage points if those mattered, right? Like that would have been great. And then for Tyler, just kind of the opposite, right? He just kind of was around middle of the field for the most part. I think the only time you really saw him was that into stage 2, where he stayed out to get some stage points. I think he started on the front row or maybe the second row, and he was on old tires and got chewed up, but he ended up finishing, I think, 5th or 6th. So good to him to get some stage points. He's still in a great spot moving into this next round, which I'm happy for. He's been very good at Kansas as well. Like we always talk about Bubba's success at that track, and Denny's as well, but Tyler's no slouch in his own right. So I fully expect all 3 of those cars to have good runs this weekend and hopefully get another finish that I'm hoping and praying for the 23 team. But yeah, good race overall for 23:45. He got something out of it, I guess. And then, I know this is 23:11 corner, but I feel like for this playoffs, at least for a while, we got to give Denny a little bit of shine here because we badmouth him like hell for privately for his strategy in this first round, and they were able to hang on. Didn't get the win like he was hoping for, I think, but still comfortably, I think relatively comfortably, we could say, made it to the next round. So shout out to that team. That's a really good team. And now that everything's reset, I fully expect them to be right back in it. Still got a shot, but maybe this was the scare that they needed to kind of shake the cobwebs out. And, now they're refocused and locked back in for the rest of the playoffs.
Amazing night. He went from like top 5, top 10 all race. He literally, it's crazy because he literally went from 7th to 3rd within the last 40 laps, just straight knocking them off one by one. So great night. Us fans needed that throughout like the last 3 weeks was terrible. I'll be honest, man. It was terrible. But hopefully they keep the momentum going to Kansas. Hopefully 2011 racing learn a lesson about bringing better cars. Because last time they didn't at Kansas, it was bad. But anyways, hate the Tigers to get 20th. I thought he might have like a good run, but it's like his car wasn't up to par, or seemed like he didn't have like the competition to be up there. But yeah, career 9th for Bubba, career top 5, career top 10s. So keep getting better every year. Keep getting better. Hate the fact that he missed the playoffs due to the stupid ass system. But that's NASCAR. NASCAR is going to force it. We'll some shit. But anyways, though, hopefully the Kansas will have like a great run. Hopefully win. We want to win. We want to win. But yeah, great night for 2023 team.
Yeah, just to piggyback on Art, hopefully this awakens that dog in Denny. Just because, I mean, truly, honestly, with all of the adversity that he's faced this year, the only thing better than Tyler winning it would be him winning it. I think he would be cool with Tyler winning over him, but it's wake up time for Denny. He runs really well at Kansas too. Talladega's a crapshoot, so maximize your points, get all you can at Kansas, and bank that piggy bank just in case all hell breaks loose for Talladega. And then the Roval. Can we please go back? Can I have a Bank of America 500 on the oval? Can we do that?
No, because you're not allowed to have nice things. So no, we can't.
The greatest mile and a half car in the history of the world. And whatever. And then Vegas, Cook Race, Homestead, Cook Race, Martinsville, Cook Race, Phoenix, Cook Race. So this is going to be the make or break round, I feel like, for a lot of people, just because you have a performance-based track, and Kansas, you can't show up slow. There's no way to make it fast if you don't unload with speed. Talladega, nobody knows what's going to happen. And then you have the Roval. They've changed the configuration. They're playing with some things. They're changing the angles. They're adding some curves. They're taking some away. There's going to be a lot of surprises and shock value there, I think, for that race too. So it's going to be interesting. These next 3 weeks are going to be interesting to watch. But we finna see what's finna happen. You know what I'm saying? Lights too bright.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm going first. I'm going first. I just want to give the biggest light bulb in the history of light bulbs to Mercedes Petronas F1 team for starting Lewis Hamilton on softs for the race in Singapore. You idiots you nincompoops, you dum-dums. Of all the success of all the tracks that he's had, Lewis always cooks at Singapore, and Mercedes were just blockhead idiots for starting him on softs, and not even new softs. They were used softs, and took him away from having the opportunity to get a podium because he was nowhere close, because he had inadequate tires. Lights too bright, Mercedes. Get better. I'm so glad he's leaving you and going to Ferrari. I'm so glad.
Man, that Ferrari Lewis merch, it's gonna hit my credit card, my bank account. I'm gonna call him ahead of time, let him know. A large purchase is coming. Just be prepared. Don't question it. I can't wait. Bonte, you really wanted to go, so you can go second. I'll go last.
Like to break the core of joy.
It's still
Well, Reagan on his final response here, you deserve lots of break, my boy.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's like that. This one's like bittersweet almost.
It's poetic. It's exactly what it is. It's poetic. That's you can win out how you know, like that's the saying. Well, he died how he lived. Like that's. I mean, I don't want death, but like that's how he went out. Like he ran his whole career at Spire, wrecking like crazy, and he went out on his sword or on his wheel, wrecking. Because he tried to like do a slide job, but he was like 20 miles an hour slower than the car he was trying to slide job on. Also, maybe not slide job at Bristol like that. Anyway, my light's too bright. I'm so happy. This is one of the few times I go last and it pays off that mine doesn't get taken. Mine goes to Allgaier because, buddy, how you blow a 45-point lead in one race? Like, and I know like the points reset or whatever, and like I think someone on here mentioned it, but like he's the leader now in the points or whatever. I could get all that, but like still, bro, like 45 points, like those playoff points, those bonus points might come back to haunt you. And even if the points don't matter, I just feel like the psychological edge of like we got them. Like if I'm the 99 car and the 19, I'm like, yo, we get to Phoenix, we got these guys. Like they cannot run, consistently up at the front, run a clean race. Like we've talked on here before about how Justin's had like 2 or 3 races that I can think of where he was leading late. Phoenix this year was one where like he's leading late, something happens, loses it, or they have a mistake or whatever. So I just feel like that was so bad. Like it's bad enough that you're running awful, but then you not only do you lose it, do you blow that lead, but then the guy wins too. Like I'm not saying it's like a worst case scenario because like it's not like it knocked him out of the playoffs or whatever, but that's just really bad. And then if I can give a second smaller pair of glasses, it has to go to Truex, because I know we didn't really talk about him much, but Truex speeding on pit road and that being what knocks you out of the playoffs. I mean, dude's been on 1, 2, 3 Cabo mode for a minute, so like it ain't like this is new right out of him, but that's just really bad. That's really bad. That's if I'm a crew member or like, I work on that car and I've been busting my tail all season long to go out like that. And I'm not saying he did on purpose or anything, but just like to go out like that. Like it's just so rough. And as I was watching the race, this is now kind of a segue. I know we're getting to open mic time, but I kind of hate how they measure the speed on pit road at Bristol. Like I knew they do like the segments, right? For the time, the time segments. And like if you do the segment in this amount of time or shorter, you're going too fast. Sure, fine, whatever. But someone made a good point. The angle of which you take a segment should not determine if you're speeding or not, right? Because like the argument was made is that Truex may not have even been speeding. And I think Ty might have gotten hit on this as well. I think it might have been Ty specifically, but he got caught. I think Ty got caught speeding in the turn. And the argument was that he went at a shorter angle, like the radius of his turn was smaller. And so his car could have physically been going at the speed limit because he went at a shorter angle. He was in the segment for a shorter amount of time. And so that equals speeding. That's kind of stupid, right? Like, am I the only one here that thinks that's really dumb? Like,
No, that's
can
facts.
we just not have like a radar gun on these guys? Like, they're not no way. Like, you got all those chips and computers in there. And I'm not saying you have to let like the teams know. Like, if you want to keep this tradition where like you don't have a speedometer in the car, whatever. But like, there's no way race control can't like go and see what the speed of a car is at any given moment. So can we just do away with this whole time thing? Because I just feel like it's so stupid. Like, you're punishing a guy for just literally going at an angle, and you could argue that penalty might have knocked Ty out of the playoffs, right? Because he could never get back up because it's too hard to pass. But whatever. I just feel like that's so weird, and I knew about, and I never really thought about it like that because normally it's these straightaways, right? Like every pit road is pretty much just a straightaway outside of like Martinsville and Bristol that I could think of. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. But that logic doesn't work when you have to make a turn. And I'm just like, how has this never been brought up? And so that just feels crazy to me. And I feel like that needs to be changed real quick. And I'm not saying you can just let guys just, gas it up through there and then slow back down. But I just feel like there has to be something else. Like just go by the time. Like, how fast the car is going. So just go by that, not by the time. You know what I mean? Am I crazy about this? Because I just felt like my mind was blown, and I was like, "This is so stupid." When I realized that last night during the race.
Yeah, because if that's how they track pit road speed, then it's literally pointless for them to bring the cars down pit road to check pit road speed. Doesn't make sense. I completely agree. It's idiotic. It's ignorant. Do better.
Yep.
Then just to piggyback on the Truex Jr. thing, I mean, on the flip side of that, Joe Gibbs got to be licking his chops at Chandler's at Chase Briscoe. Like, that man coming to me next year. Look what he did. He got his car to the offs. He advanced to the next round. My driver laid a duck. It's got to look up for the 19 team, right? They know they have somebody that's keeping the literal lights on at the race shop in Chase Briscoe. So kudos to Chase for pushing through to round of 12 and let's see how far he can go in this next set of 3 races, see what they can come up with.
Yeah, he's been real impressive.
Open mic, since we're talking about random things. Anyone have anything for open mic?
I kind of gave my spiel on that one. Monte, you got something you want to talk about?
All I'm gonna say is Jared is literally struggling with Alex right now. It's hilarious.
Hilarious?
That's really rude. You're praying on my downfall on live.
You be all right, buddy.
I'm going to remember that. Just
ominous.
Just know that's saved in the memory banks. But with that, I don't have anything else. Appreciate you listening. Like, comment, subscribe, follow later. Follow us, tell your mammy, tell your Grammy. Still pushing. Got to come up with another giveaway to prospect to give away soon. So we'll have some info on that when we reach our next goal. Did we ever hear back from the Dr. Pepper Fender winner?
We did not. They left me on red.
Oh man. Yeah, you gotta be that.
Now. You can't use that language.
What did he say?
He was going to say something dastardly. I cut him off. But dear listener, if you received a direct message on X from Victory Lane Vibes, you are the heir to the McDonald's Dr. Pepper rear quarter panel from 2023 Bristol Dirt, the iconic double scheme that cooks way more than Christopher Bell's double schemes ever could.
Facts.
Please procure and claim your prize as soon as you can, because sadly I want that in somebody's garage. I want it in somebody's office. I want somebody to claim it. I don't want to have to pass your prize to the next person. So dear listener, Check your DMs from Victory Lane Vibes. Holla at us. Let us know if you would like to claim or pass the showcase like they do in Price is Right.
Ooh. Except if you pass, brother, you back in the pool with everybody else. It's random.
And you get back with the common folk, and then we press that button again. We playing Pinko. You don't know where it's going. You don't know where the chip gonna land. Is it 10,000 to 0? Who knows? But yeah, if you could appreciate that, I greatly appreciate it.
The odds of a Plinko reference on this episode have to be so high, and yet it hit. That's crazy.
Oh, because I'm going to Price is Right. I'm going to be on Price is Right.
Wait, what?
Sorry. Like I'm going. So they do like Price is Right at night, and I'm going to a Price is Right at night thing. So I still have.
So not the actual show?
Kinda. Like it is, but it's not. Like you still have to like enter your draw at random and put your name in and all your information so they can call you on stage and come on down. You're the next success on the Price is Right. So it's the same vibes. You know, you can still win stuff.
But you're not going to be on TV?
Why would I be on TV? That's outrageous. No, I don't want to be on TV. I'd rather win in quiet and just tell Uncle Sam, like, hey, claim this on my taxes. Appreciate you.
Well, you just said I'm going to be on a television show, so it's a logical conclusion for me to
Right.
think.
There's a difference. I never said it was on TV. That's what you get for assuming. Congratulations.
You said you're going to be on The Price is Right.
I am.
What do you mean? That's an assumption. That's like me saying I'm going to be on Law and Order. Like, oh, what? It's going to be radio edition? No, it's a TV show. Like, what do you mean?
That would be crazy if they did a Law and Order audio version.
You're changing the subject. Anyway, you better win something. I thought you were going to be
I'm hoping so. I'm very excited. I bought these tickets like 6 months ago. I forgot it happened until my calendar just reminded me.
Wait.
I think it's going to be fun.
Do you have to go to Cali for this?
No, I got to go to Charlottesville. You want to go?
No, I don't want to go.
It's on a Thursday.
I don't like the pressure of game shows. I feel like I would fold like wet newspaper. That's not my game.
I'm telling you, man, if you get the Plinko game, your odds are exponentially higher of winning. That's what I'm
I feel like they'd see me and they'd be like, he wants Plinko. Slide that one back. Bring out something terrible. What's the one where
Bring out the grocery game where you got to guess the prices between 2000 and 2024?
What's the one where it's like, oh no, higher or lower?
Oh yeah, or the Mountain Climber Man. Terrible games.
If y'all could, I couldn't guess. Like I was deep in Price is Right as a child.
Still am.
So
Sick Days.
You Bob Barker, R.I.P. You a real one.
We up. Yes,
anyway,
sir.
Good for you. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. But if nobody else has anything else, we're gonna let y'all get back to your 9 to 5 grind. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think of the episode. Leave us a comment. Tell your friends to listen to us. And we'll see you post Kansas. Play the music.